spend some time with the dead.
On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you? Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Trevor Jensen.
And today our special guest, SamSpookd.
Hello, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for
Thank you
joining
for
us
being
tonight.
here.
Of course, I'm
So-
excited to talk the spookies.
Of course.
Yes.
Like we literally were right before we were gonna be like jumping into StreamYard. I already can't talk. This is fucked.
Did you
What
say
time?
hump? There
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean to. The J didn't come
we
out.
go. What goes hump in the night? But
What goes hump in the
everybody,
But like we were like, what do we title this? And I was just like spooky talks. Like everybody loves spooky stuff, dude. Like anything spooky.
hell yeah.
So speaking of spooky, like where are you located? You know, what's the scene of the paranormal around your parts?
So I'm in Maryland, actually. I moved here about 2 years ago from Ohio, though, and everyone knows
Ah,
Ohio is pretty notoriously haunted.
it's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
But Maryland, I mean, there's a lot of like abandoned like asylums and stuff out here, which I haven't gone to yet, just because I'm a little baby. So eventually,
Well,
though,
what are you
I'm
scared
gonna-
of though? Like
I'm
what,
getting
what-
caught and getting a trespassing charge.
Okay,
I
okay.
guess.
But realistically, this is what me and Riley always say. Like, unless they're like really hard sticklers, if you like, if you show them like, I have a bunch of equipment, look at this video, like, it's all cool, man. Like, I'll leave like respectfully. Like, we're not doing anything like unrespectfully. Like, they're usually pretty cool, but like, yeah, trust me.
That might
I'm
just
not,
also
like-
be a Michigan thing.
yeah, I might not be like the best advocate for not doing dangerous things. Like, don't do that though. But like, if you're gonna do it respectfully.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. Always respectful out here. We're always respectful, but you never know. Some
No, I get that fear though. Like, that's one of the big fears when we started for sure. Was like, oh man, we're in a cemetery. It's past midnight. Like, are we gonna get fucking caught, dude? Nobody cares.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, cemeteries, I feel like are kind of different. Like I know there's like have you heard of Forest Haven?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's like 15 minutes from my house. And
it's pretty well known.
yeah, but I've heard there's like security on the property and whatnot. So it's like
Yeah.
an impound lot now or something. So
Mhm.
I've just been scared to go. If I had somebody who like has been there, I would totally go. But
Right.
I'm
Well,
just
and it's
afraid to
like,
go by myself.
it
like,
is
by
better to
myself.
pull permissions to places and stuff, but realistically, like, who the fuck do we talk to? I've literally tried to go down the rabbit hole of getting us places. Riley's done it too, and I'm sure you have. And it's like, why is it so hard? Like, this is ridiculous.
Sometimes it's like ridiculously easy, and sometimes it's just like
Yeah,
gotta go
sometimes
through
it's
a
like,
million hoops.
thank you so much for just being a kind human being that is like open-minded. Like, other
Right.
people are just like, we just ain't doing it. But then they'll let somebody with like well over like 100,000 subscribers do it just because of that. And it's
Yeah.
like, come on, dude, let's not be like dickish.
Yeah, like it comes down to the numbers, unfortunately. It's just
It's so weird how that works, right?
Big
Yeah.
Mac,
Even though it's like
40 plus
everybody that is
content
making
Forest
content
Haven,
has
no security.
Really?
There's a big tip.
Hey, see, now we're all learning stuff today. That's why we're here doing
Let's
it.
say,
We all
what's
learn.
up, everybody?
Yeah, what's
Dude, it's
going on,
poppin'.
everybody in the chat? It's popping.
Did I disconnect?
No, you just lag a little bit, but we can hear
StreamYard.
you.
And
Oh,
it's
no.
not supposed to do that anymore. Freaking StreamYard. I tell you
'Cause
what.
fuck, you pay for fucking StreamYard and it still fucks up.
Is that StreamYard or is it my
It's
internet?
probably StreamYard. We
It's
had trouble
probably
with
StreamYard.
StreamYard like last
Okay.
week too, where it was like giving us fits for no reason and like wanted to disconnect. It's like, bruh, we pay for you. Like, what
It's
do you
probably
do?
it was probably honestly the chat because they're just going ham right now, saying hi to everyone, which is
It's all the
I
ghosts that are
know.
attached to us, is what it is. Because we've all done some pretty weird paranormal shit.
Hi, Hallie. Hi, Kayla. Hi, Patty. Hi, Casey. Hi, Dylan. Sorry, those are my peoples. I
Those
gotta
are the
say hi to
home.
them. Maisie, hi Maisie. My best friend's daughter is
Oh, I
watching as
love that.
well. So
I love that.
That is
This is a
what's up.
family affair, although I have a
Family
potty
it
mouth,
is.
and I'll clean it up.
So we do have to ask you, Sam, what got you into the paranormal? Was it something in your childhood, recently?
Yeah. So I grew up around the paranormal.
Yeah.
Even as like a kid, I remember my mom and like my aunts and my grandma sitting around the table late at night at like midnight telling ghost stories because that whole side of my mom's family, they all grew up having experiences.
I love that.
So, and like my mom has the craziest experiences ever. She needs to write a book. But yeah, so I grew up listening to that. I remember like like shaking in a chair listening to these ghost stories late at night, so scared. And I always just loved like any kind of spooky TV shows or
Mhm.
books like in elementary school, like scary stories to tell in the dark, like goosebumps,
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that. Like that's
Oh,
all.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Anytime we go to the library, like that's all I was looking for. And like, yeah, like Courage the Cowardly Dog,
Oh, yeah.
Scooby Doo, Casper the Friendly Ghost, even like horror movies like The Others and
What's your
The
favorite horror movie?
Shining. Oh my gosh. That is such a hard question that I was not expecting.
I know, because you dropped movies and you started naming movies, and I was like,
Gosh
I
dang
know
it.
a lot of pretty good ones, but there's one that lives in infamy for me where it's like, that'd be fucking terrifying.
Um, my favorite. So, I mean, The Shining is great. I'm a huge Scream girl as well. I
Really?
mean,
Is it
I,
like
that's
the gory stuff, or is it just like the like the tension shit?
I don't know. I guess the tension is just Ghostface. Like, can we talk about
Okay,
Ghostface? Like,
nice. I understand. Yeah, I think The Strangers would be like top tier for me, where it's like people like showing up to my house and fucking killing me like slowly and breaking in. Yeah, that's just as scary as ghosts are. Although, would you rather live with a ghost or have like a legitimate like physical like fight with somebody?
oh, definitely live with a ghost.
I think so too. Like
100%.
realistically, like what are the odds that it's gonna have enough energy to like affect you? Like you know what I mean? Like I've never experienced like getting physically touched outside of the first paranormal event I ever had in my life.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I ever got physically touched either as well. So
I can't say the same.
Riley gets touched a lot. I feel like he's like
really?
one of those like lightning poles or a conduit kind of, where they just it's like one of those like fly zappers and they're just like
Uh,
well, like the tattoo shop video that we just released, like he literally had something like tap his back and like pull his shirt, and like in the
Mhm.
video you can see it like turn into a belly shirt because it's getting pulled
mhm.
off of him, and it's like, what the fuck
Yeah, I
is
remember seeing
happening?
that.
And like as
Um,
much as people want to say it's not
but
real, it's like I couldn't explain that, not at all.
hope the
I can't
internet's
explain it either.
did it cut out.
Mm-mm.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. It like
You
it did a
you
little.
completely stopped moving for a minute, and I was like, "What?" Like, is it is it stop?
Oh gosh. But yeah, after like yeah, all the stories and whatnot, I ended up having my own experiences probably like when I was like preteens, like 12, 13. And well, my sister was always messed with when she was younger. Like she was a target. I think some people are just targets, like for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I don't know if it's the energy that they bring or what, but my sister was messed with a lot. She was she would my mom left the house one morning and she was literally out in her towel at like 10 years old and because she was so scared. Um but yeah, but anyway, so yeah, when I was like 12 or 13, started having like my own experiences in the house, just a lot of like walking, like voices. It would just sound like there was somebody there when you were home completely alone.
Was it like
I totally
frequently
understand
too,
what.
or was it like kind of like on and off?
It was frequently. It was
That's pretty
very
wild.
often. Like all of my friends that I've had through like elementary, middle school, high school, they all have experiences at that house. So they can
That's ooh,
attest
that's
to it.
validating and even more wild.
Mhm. Exactly. Everyone was afraid to come to my house. So, but
I feel
Did you know any of the history behind it, or like why it would have been like that?
not really. In the past like year, I started kind of trying to investigate there whenever I go home to visit.
Yeah,
And it seems like it could be something like connected to the land because it just seemed like anytime I would
it's
bring
most likely.
it. Um, but and then my mom also thinks she has like a ghost that has been following her since her childhood named George. So we think that could be George as well. Some of
It's
it
also
at
pretty
least.
likely.
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Have you ever
So
had any encounters with being followed by any entities, or like anything from like when you've been on your investigations? I'm sorry, Riley, I did not mean to cut you off.
yeah, I was gonna. It's where I answer that question.
Okay. So I'm not for sure. I don't have anything that really stands out. The only thing I could think of is last May I went to Grand Midway Hotel and the Hoover House. And like anytime I go anywhere, I'm not afraid of anything ever following me
Mm.
home. I know some people are like, somebody's gonna follow me home or whatnot, but I'm like, why? Like, I don't think so. But I did those 2 days in a row, and it was a Friday and Saturday, I believe. And then on that Sunday, I was like taking a shower, and I hate getting messed with in the bathroom. Like it's happened to me before, like back like years ago. So I was taking a shower, and all of a sudden a bottle falls off like onto the floor. Like I have my eyes closed, and I'm like, I don't think anything of it because I'm like, okay, there's a bottle, and it just slipped and fell onto the floor.
From a flat surface,
Like,
though.
Logical.
Like, huh?
yeah, I was like, okay, the water like hit it, and I just fell. So I like pick it up, literally don't think anything of it. Like I was like, okay, pick it up, put it back on the shelf. And then literally like 10 seconds later, I'm like shampooing my hair, like I have my eyes closed, and all of a sudden, like I hear like a thud or something, and I looked around and I didn't see anything, so I was like kind of confused, but I didn't know
Yeah, like what is that?
what it was. There wasn't anything on the floor. And then next thing I know, like I looked over at my shelf and I noticed that there was a bottle of shampoo missing off of the shelf that was just there because I looked at it like before I closed my eyes, and
What?
it was gone. I was like, what the frick? I was like, what happened to that bottle? So I'm like, I like looked, like I said, I like look around the shower. I'm like, what the heck? And then I was like, and I like open up the shower curtain, and there is a bottle of shampoo laying in the middle of the bathroom floor. Like,
What?
and the thing is that first bottle that fell off, it was a different bottle, and it was light. Like there was
Yeah.
nothing in it. So that's why I was like, okay, it's a light little bottle. It fell off. This bottle was a full bottle, like a heavy bottle of shampoo, like barely used at all. And it was in the middle of the floor. And you don't even know, I tried to replicate it,
Well,
like
how does it
falling
go through a
off.
shower curtain too,
Yeah, I
though,
was just
without
thinking
making
that.
that noise?
That's what I thought. It was so strange. Like I didn't even notice it. And then I was like, what the heck? And it was just so strange because it was like right after Grand Midway and the Hoover House. And I was like,
Coincidence? I think not.
I I was like, I don't know. Maybe I still am like, maybe it did just fall off. But the fact that it like had to fly through the air, because there's like
Right.
I don't have like a full bathtub, but so it's like a stand-in shower, but there's like that little like kind
Yeah,
of
it's got a
ledge like
ledge still, or like
on
a
the
lip, or
bottom.
whatever you call it.
Yeah, the lip. And so usually anytime anything falls off, like it just like would hit the lip if it even goes that
Yeah, and
far,
then
you
do its
know?
little like bowl thing.
Yeah, and it'll like just like kind of fall back. And somehow it made it like it flew hard enough that it went over that lip into the middle of the floor. I literally called my boyfriend in too while I was still in the shower, and I was like, dude, see that bottle? I was like, that flew out of the shower. And he was like, what did you, he doesn't even, he's not a believer. He's a non-believer.
Interesting.
But
Really?
he was
Non-believer.
like, you better not brought something back with you. And he doesn't even believe.
I
So.
mean, shoot, how do you explain that? And I, like you said, like you didn't hear it go through the shower curtain. It had to go over it or something then, or like
Like
there. That's just weird.
Like if it did hit the shower curtain, I don't know. Like maybe I had the curtain open enough that it like slipped through the like crack in the curtain. I don't know, but
I
it
mean,
was
unless you had like some T Swizzy blasting in the background and it just made its way through it, though. Like
That's
knowing, like I don't know.
Trevor's new shower songs of choice is some T Swift.
Bro,
Oh
I didn't
yeah. Do you
realize
have
how
a
good it is.
personal favorite at all?
Just old T Swizzy.
Oh, okay. I like some old T Swift. I
I'll
feel
say
that.
before it got mainstream and everybody loves her. Where it's like, nah, dude, I liked her from the beginning.
My boyfriend's sister said, "Hope that wasn't at our house, Sam." She lives downstairs. We're like upstairs. It's like a duplex
Yeah, like a split
apartment.
level.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty spooky.
See, I'm starting to believe more and more that like attachments are actually like a real thing.
See, I
Like just
don't
more
know
and
how
more.
I feel, but that was weird.
Well, they come and go. Like, I don't think they're
Yeah.
always around.
I don't think they're always
Mhm.
there. Yeah, only when they want you to know that they're there.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah, totally.
sometimes when you don't want them to be there, they're like, "No, I'm here. Just remember."
Well, it's
When you're
always
taking a
ironic.
shower.
Well, yeah, well, it's ironic too because you'll get it a lot more when you're on investigations. It seems like, which the irony there is funny, but also like I feel like you're projecting that presence or like the beacon almost is lit, where it's like the bring the ring to like the fucking mountain, where it's like I don't know, like it feels like it's more likely that if you're in certain headspaces, it's easier to like have things happen too. And it's like if you're in like a loosey goosey headspace too, or like you're not paying attention, like I think that's when other paranormal stuff happens a lot too.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, like after that weekend, I was so tired that when it happened, I was kind of like, am I tired?
Like
Did I
I'm
knock it
sleep
off? Like
deprived.
I'm like, yeah.
I think the like being deprived of sleep too when after you ghost hunt is like I think you crack that door a little bit more, you know what I mean? Like there's just like less of a barrier because
Yeah.
all of your like perception levels are like totally different when you're strung out from not sleeping, probably
Mhm.
energy drinks and for us it's
Pretty
candy,
much.
energy drinks, like anything high sugar and like anything that'll keep us up. So like your mental state is completely different than when you start an investigation. Because I mean, we've had stuff happen at the beginning of an investigation, but a lot of the crazier stuff
Is
happens towards
always
the end of the night.
yeah.
Yep, for sure.
It's always funny how it builds, like, the story builds into, like, the crescendo, and it's like it's almost like a movie. Like, almost everything that we've filmed lately has felt like it's been a movie quality because it just, like, ramps up, and it's like, you see the story building out, and you're getting the answers that are, like, really, really dead on for, like, what like, the history is there, and it's like, "What is even happening?"
Mhm.
Like, I can't explain any of this, and it happens all the time in a lot of different locations, and I had no idea.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you don't even realize it until editing either.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're reviewing the footage, you're like, holy crap. Like that makes so much sense. Like,
When
yeah,
you
I can
start
tell.
missing stuff too, because it's so daunting when you have 4 hours worth of footage to comb through.
Mhm.
You're just it's such a slog, but, like, if you don't, you could miss some, like, really cool stuff because we've almost, like, left out some really incredible evidence that we've been very fortunate on, like, a watch through back because we have 2 eyes doing it, or 4
Mhm.
eyes or whatever you wanna say.
Sometimes too, like we'll miss a video in all of the file thumbnails, and like never
Mhm.
play that one, just continuously skip over
And then
it,
we just
and then
have it.
you don't even know what happened in it. That's literally what happened in our tattoo shop video. There was the abandonment session. We had no idea what video that was part of, but it was the continuous end of another video that was like 20 minutes long, and we just never watched the
We
full
would have
thing.
cut it too
Oh.
if it was any time else, but when
And
we
then we
kept it in
ended up
there, we got so many voices.
It's always the ones that you're just not
It's
expecting.
those sneaky ones.
Yeah.
You'll be like, "That was such a boring part of the night, like, nothing happened, it was a slow night, like,
and then
whatever."
you listen, and all of a sudden there's a voice that shouldn't be there, and you're like,
And it's,
what?
"What?" Like, "No." That's how I feel about the poorhouse still, where it's now that I'm, like, re-editing the audio because I was like, "I have to fix this now." Like, the audio quality wasn't up to snuff, like, it's good, like, the first version that I had done was really good, but the, like, EVPs that we caught, they weren't done the justice they deserve, and then now that I've redid it and like amplified them in the ways that I did, it's like, oh, these are a lot clearer. Like you can hear people's voices that are not ours. And there was a female voice in there a couple times the night. We didn't have a girl in our group. It was all dudes that had this baritone voice.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah, I was pooping my pants. And then the disembodied voices and like to go on top of the footsteps that we caught too, where it's like, what is this? You know, and I'm sure you've caught that many a times on your investigations too, where it's like, what is that stuff?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't go into investigations just like to film a video usually. So sometimes I don't even like watch them for a while, and then I'll be like, "Huh, I'm gonna review some footage," and
This
I'll
one's from
review, and I'm
September
like,
that comes out tomorrow. Like, I know what you mean.
yeah. So it's crazy to see things that you miss, like yeah, voices, like
Mhm.
things just in the moment that you just didn't even recognize. And it sometimes it upsets me because I'm like, I wish I noticed like certain like
The thing
maybe
is, like, you know
answers
you're
to
paying
things
attention
or
too,
just
though.
100%, 100%. There's so many times when our videos, like, we'll capture something and neither of us react to it.
Mm.
It's like
yeah.
we didn't even hear it, but
Hmm.
it obviously happened, but we don't
But
even
you're
know.
on hyper vigilant, hyper awareness mode, and it
Hmm.
still slipped through the like the
Yeah.
cracks, and it's like that's incredibly weird. Like, is it meant to?
I think sometimes filming for me, like the reason why I haven't been wanting to focus on filming is because I think sometimes it takes my attention away from the
100%.
investigation.
I definitely feel
So
that.
that's why, especially because I've only been investigating for maybe like since October 22,
Yeah,
really. So only like a
very
year and
fresh.
a half or something. So this like last year especially, I was just trying to focus on investigating
Yeah,
and
finding where you fit in, like, how you investigate, because that's what we
exactly.
had to find how we investigated too, or, like, what we like to do, and, like, now that we found our like, I would say niche too, it's the same way with, like, how the editing style is now. It fits, everything fits what we do and what we embody, so, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, it's like you kinda gotta build the character of what's there, but, like, you never done it before, like, how do you blaze a trail? It's not there.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard, and that's what like I was really like being hard on myself with filming and stuff at first because that's what I was trying to focus on, and I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna take a step back
Critical is
from that
good.
and just investigate and like maybe set up a camera and not pay attention to it if anything. So maybe eventually I will, but
I mean,
What?
static cams are always worth it too, though.
Oh,
Where you know what I
mhm.
mean? Where it's like, even if you don't have like a long clip to like put out, like a short of something fucking wild happening is always just as cool. And then it's like everybody's still happy, like you're still doing something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was just trying to focus on, like little clips and whatnot here and there for like TikTok for now. So that's what I try to
Hey,
do.
TikTok is one of those crazy things that I didn't think it was as like needed to like do well for like success as it does for people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Where it's like it's not like it's not like a conceited thing at all either. Where it's just like if you have videos that relatively can beat the algorithm that do get pushed out to people, a lot of people use that platform, and
Mhm.
a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people will see your stuff at that point.
The thing is that I don't want to hate on the general public on paranormal TikTok, but
But
some
they
of
don't think
their
that it's
opinions
fucking
on things is very
what we put
I don't
out there is fake, but then what the stuff that is, like, really controversial stuff where it's very blobby or, like, very pixelated or very, very washed out audio, it's like,
yeah.
"What?" Thanks,
People will
Dylan.
be freaking out over things. I'm like, that's fake. Like that's obviously fake. Like scripted
Mhm.
videos. I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, and
you like
it's
the
very
entertainment, but it's
clear. Like,
I
"No,
don't
no."
know.
Yeah, I agree
people are
with
getting
you.
super creative with the paranormal thriller videos though on TikTok. I've been seeing a lot of the stuff that's obviously fake, but it's like
It's
scary
good.
as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it's
Like
really
Yeah.
getting
good
chased by
stuff.
something, like every time they turn, it's like closer or like more distorted and like
That's good
there's
ass
a
editing.
video of like this dude getting in his car and he like turns his headlights on and there's these two guys like standing in front and they're like doing all
Oh,
the
I've
like
seen that one.
and then he like puts the car in reverse and looks back and then they're in the back seat and he gets out of the car and like they're running backwards and shit. It's so freaky.
Yeah, I think my friend sent me that the other day, actually. But no, but that's cool. That's like cinematic horror type
Right.
stuff, you know? Like,
But people do be believing that that's what happens on Paranormal Investigation.
yeah, I
And
know.
it's
It's far
wild.
from
funny.
that. It's far from that.
Some of the questions people ask me regarding the paranormal just makes me giggle. But
Right. And it's not a bash, because it's just like, I think everybody deserves the right to like it, to experience it at least once, because
yeah,
then they have a better idea, or at least like
exactly.
have somebody that does know what they're doing explain it, because it's a lot of sit around, wait, and then when something does happen, it's like, pay attention, like something is happening, and you're never gonna be able to forget that.
Yeah.
A
See, my
100%.
honest opinion is that if you felt like that static cobweb feeling like come around you, like that's
Something's
something
happening.
that's paranormal in my opinion, because that's the only time I've ever experienced that stuff is when I'm ghost hunting. I don't like walk to my kitchen and feel that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
100%. That reminds me of a story. So me and my friend Hallie and Hallie and Kayla, we were at West Virginia Penitentiary, and we were up in the second floor of cells, like in the cell block. And we weren't there for that long. I mean, like we walked up there, and my friend Kayla was like, I'm gonna walk down the cell block, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what the name
That's
for
I
it
think
is,
that's the
but,
correct
like,
term.
I don't
that's
know.
correct. You're
I'm
right.
bad at words sometimes, just so you know.
Words
Hey,
are hard.
words are
I'll tell
hard.
you, words hard.
But she was walking down. She's like, I'm gonna walk down without a flashlight. So she walked down, and while she was walking down, me and Hallie were standing there, and like in my head, like, so all of a sudden I start feeling this like tingling sensation on the top of my head, and I literally in my mind I went to go say like my head's tingling. But I was like, maybe it's just from the energy drinks I drank, you know?
Oh yeah.
I was like,
The
I thought
caffeine really be hitting hard today.
that's what I thought. I thought it was like the Red Bull was like giving me wings, you know? But I literally was thinking it, and literally 5 seconds later, she's like, my scalp is like tingling. And I was like, she was standing right next to me. I was like, no way. I was like, dude, mine too. I was literally gonna say that, but I thought I was just feeling the energy drinks. And so then like my friend Kayla, she walked out, she ends up coming back, and we were about to set up equipment because we didn't have any equipment set up yet. So we were just like chilling up there for a second. And all of a sudden, Kayla like shines her flashlight back down the cell block, and she's like, what the fuck is that? And then I guess I didn't see it. I saw a little bit of a shadow, but her and my friend Hallie, they both saw a shadow figure, and she saw it with glowing eyes. My friend
Oh,
Kayla,
fuck that.
she saw it with glowing eyes, and she said it like did like when she was like, what the fuck is that? She said it kind of like stopped and was like, and like ducked out of the way, like it was like hiding.
Like, you
Like,
shouldn't
it was
have
like
seen me.
it was like, oh my god, you caught me, kind of like. But she
I-
was so freaked out. Like I've never seen her like that on an investigation before. Like you could tell she was just reevaluating everything. That
You're like, why am
what
I
she
doing
saw.
this?
Well, I think she was just trying to figure out like if she was like crazy or not for like what she saw.
That I've had that same feeling. Like, I know that feeling very well, where it's like, that's not possible.
I would
Like,
say
it's not.
the moment that I felt that was when we were at Eloise Asylum. We saw that light in the room at the end of the hallway, Trevor,
Yeah.
and no one else believed us. Remember
Yeah,
that?
not a single person except
We
for
were like-
one dude that walked up and was like, I saw that. Did you guys see that? Yeah, and we were like all in there together, and it's just a cement fucking block room.
Yeah, nothing in there at all. We thought it was a REM pod that got set up like the night prior and was like left in the room overnight or something, because it was one of those Ghost Hunts USA tours. I don't know if you've done anything like that before or not, but
I've done like haunted nights events, so it's not
Okay,
as
yeah,
it's
not as
basically the same
chaotic,
thing.
I think.
basically the
but-
same thing. It's a group investigation, and one of the leads was telling some history or whatever, and me and Trevor saw this light, and we were like, hey, like you said,
Paranormal.
at the beginning of this, if you see or sense anything, like speak up about it. So
Mhm.
we did, and he like shoot us off. And we're like, all right, we're going down the hallway then. Like, screw you, dude. Like, we just saw something. We gotta go investigate it.
Yeah, like it was all game time at that point, and he
Dang.
just wanted to tell his story about where he was
Oh,
from.
of course. What
Because
a
he
dick.
was a paranormal celebrity that used to be a part of Ghost Hunters and Taps, and he was part of the
Oh,
British crew.
very prestige,
I
huh?
don't even remember his name, but like, yeah, he just wouldn't shut up about who he was, and then just wouldn't let us go
Yeah.
investigate what was happening.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah, that's what really ticked me off. Where it's like, all right, dude, cool story, but like, we don't need it. We literally don't need it right now.
It's
It's a waste
happening
of
right
time.
now.
You're like, I don't. That's not what you're there for.
No, I need to see the paranormal. I know the history if I'm going to this place already, most likely. And if not, just give me the history while it's happening.
See, that's the difference in group investigations, though, because a lot of people don't know the history and they're going because it's something scary. Like it's a
Yeah,
whole
but
Mhm.
like,
thing.
I know for a fact that if you were investigating, and this is hypothetical as hell, but like if something started happening, I was like, hey, sir, there's a light going on in this room. You'd be like, all right, hold on. Walk over there. Everybody come here. We're going to look in here together, like do a thing. And then, like validate that something happened and then be like, so did you know that this room actually was part of the mortuary where they used to store cold bodies? And it's like, oh, that makes a ton of
Yeah.
fucking sense now. See, it's like that's what I needed, and homie didn't give me that.
He could have, yeah, he could have made the experience better for everybody by doing
Easily.
something like that.
Easily.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's just they don't vet like anybody that comes there. So there was a lot of like very young people that were not there to like be paranormal investigators. They were there to like
Get scared.
Yeah, 100%.
which I don't blame them. Like you paid the same amount I did. You went
Yeah,
did your
like
thing.
do what
Fun.
you want to, but
But like if you see me with a recorder in my hand and I'm being quiet, please shut the fuck up respectfully.
how many people were on that investigation?
100.
150. It
You know,
seemed like
that's
100,
that's
150.
crazy.
There was
yeah,
so many.
they're like Eloise, okay? Pretty fucking awesome
Okay.
place. Place was sweet. Very big, but their parking lot is like the size of a small grocery store, completely fucking filled with cars. And it
Oh.
was a snowstorm, and it was probably -2 with the wind chill in the building.
No, that's
And
the
it was like,
No
worst.
heat. No heat.
why the
That's
fuck
the
is there still 100 people here? We should have this place to ourselves. We're
Ooh.
real Michiganders.
See, like the Haunted Nights events, there's only ever like 20 to 25 people, so it's not that bad at all, especially on like a big
Yeah, they cap
location.
that shit at a good
You don't
number.
even run into each other,
Yeah.
honestly.
See, our first group
Yeah,
investigation
that the
was like
first
that.
I will give them a little redemption. The first one we ever went to for sure. Old Lincoln County Jail. There was what, 12 of us?
Oh, yeah, 12 people.
I
Yeah.
think there's 12 of us. Yeah, and
That includes like the guides and everything.
10 of them were girls, right? And then
Yeah,
me
and
and
we
you
were
were
the
the
only
only
two.
guys, and then one guy that wasn't investigating, so I don't count him.
We never even saw him.
He doesn't even exist.
Nope. So we like once they were like, here's free time, we just went on our own, and all the girls just like they did the like we all had to go to the bathroom at the same time thing, and they just all stayed together the entire time. And they all went to the same places. So whatever floor
Yep.
they were on, we're like, we're going 2 floors above you.
Yep.
No issues. So how, like you said, you've only been doing this for like a year and a half, maybe like a little over. Where have you gone? Like what, any like bigger locations, or has it been like a lot of local stuff for you?
Yeah, I've been to a good amount of big locations.
Ooh.
So last year I think I did 15 different places.
The fuck? Let's go.
See, I'm very like low key. Social media kind of scares me a little bit. But last year I had a list. So Fairfield was like my first big investigation. And then I did Madison. And then I think I went back to Fairfield again. And then I went to Waverly Hills, which
Ooh.
Waverly was very interesting. I went for 2 nights in a row at Waverly, and the first night was so active and had my anxiety so high. I went back to the Airbnb, and me and my friend, we rented an Airbnb with like a bunch of like a big group of girls that all went to this event. And I was like laying in bed with my friend, and I was like, she's trying to sleep, and I'm laying there, and I'm like shaking, and I'm like, I don't know if I can go back tomorrow. I was like,
Really?
yeah. And I was like, that place was really weird. I was like, they were like messing with me, like and that's the only time I've ever said that. Like, but I just felt so psychologically like confused and anxious,
It
and
gets to you.
I feel like that's how those people would have felt though. It was you're probably feeling like their emotions.
yeah, and I think that is what I came to a little bit of a conclusion on that. It was just, I don't know. I ended up going back the second night, and it was very quiet though. So first night super active, second night extremely quiet.
It happens a lot. That's what a lot of people have said to us, and that I've experienced myself sometimes, where it's like sometimes you go to like places and the first night is just like wild as hell. And then the second night is like, oh, they used their batteries, like it's done. Like you got
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
first wave and the wave crashed.
Yeah, we did
100.
that at Mouse Cemetery here, and first night was the most insane night we've ever had investigating, I would say, with the evidence that we captured. The next day, it was really not much at all.
Mhm. Yeah, Waverly is definitely an interesting place. Like we were chasing like phantom voices like all night. We could swear like it was a group investigation. There was like 20 people there, don't get me wrong. So
It's still a lot larger
but
than where we were.
we would like hear voices, and we would be like, "Hello?" and like nothing, and we would walk down just to see, and there would be nobody down there, and that happened all night. We were chasing these, and they would sound like our friends that were like also there, but we would ask them, and
Oh.
we would be like, were you up there? And they'd be like, no, we were, on the freaking other side downstairs or
So they were
something
like
like
getting
that.
mimicked.
Yes, it was so weird. And then at another point, we were going down, we were on like the bottom level walking towards the lobby. Do you guys like, have you been to Waverly Hills?
Mm-mm.
We have not. It's on the bucket list though, for sure.
Okay, it's definitely a crazy place. But we were walking towards the lobby, and we had like a small group of us, and I was about to walk through the lobby doors, and I was ahead of the group, and we kind of had like we had like stragglers, behind, following behind. I was the first person, and I was about to walk through the lobby doors, and all of a sudden it's like the doors like shook or something, and it was like loud. It was like a bang almost, and I jumped because it scared me. I was like, "What?" And then I turned around, and while I turned around, I see my other friend. She's freaking out behind me, like 10, 15 feet away, saying, she's like, that door just opened. And
Oh,
like there was a door. She watched a door literally open. And we tried so hard to replicate this door opening. Like this, I debunked, like debunk. We were like trying to like run past this door, like maybe thinking like it was the wind or something that opened it. But it was just so strange because that happened with that door like shaking as soon as I was about to go in, and then she was freaking out about the
Fucking
door
weird.
opening. And then so we go into the lobby, and this is a topic I wanted to bring up to you guys. So we went to the lobby, and I had the worst deja vu of my life. I was like I was like about to cry because it was so weird and it wouldn't go away. And I was like, I've been here in a dream. It was like, it felt like I had been there before.
Shit, yeah.
So have you ever experienced deja vu at a
oh,
location at all?
Definitely,
I have. I
like,
can't give you like specific events that I've had it because
I think I can
been
give you
quite
at
a
least
few.
2.
But I know like mine aren't usually like that. Mine are usually like I have a dream and then it actually happens. But it's like in the dream I can't see a lot of the details. I just know like how it progressed. But I can't
Mhm.
give you like faces, names, or people or like exactly what happened. But the thing that happened in my dream maybe 2 or 3 days prior happens fairly similar in real life. Whether it's just like
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of like an example that happened, but it hasn't happened in a while, so it's not like at the top of my mind right now.
So it's like a blurry premonition almost.
Yeah, premonition, exactly.
See, Like sometimes I'll be in like the locations and like you'll stand in one spot for a second and you'll be like taking it in. And like I'll feel like I'll like do that like third person and like snap back in mode. And I'll be like everything is now more aware. Like I'm more aware of everything around me and everything feels more real, if that makes sense.
No, I understand completely what you
Yeah,
mean.
like that's the deja vu feeling that I get like
Okay.
a lot more. But then there's been times too where it's like we'll roll up to a location and I'll be like, why the fuck do I know what this looks like? Like
Is
there's
there a
no reason that I know I should know this.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah, there's a dog and a
Oh,
cat
okay.
roaming around.
Sorry,
There's
someone
also
said
another cat.
dog. I'm sorry.
You probably saw like a little monkey tail like just like peeking through.
Well, my friend was like, "Why is he just looking at the door like that?" So
Oh yeah, the dog just I looked back because my dog was staring at the door and just like staring into it. And I was like, what the fuck is she
that's a
doing?
nice door.
Like look at that dog. But oh my goodness.
Hey, Matt.
What up,
So
Matt?
I'm curious, like when you do your investigating, what is your favorite device that you like to use on these investigations?
That's a great question.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, I would say so because honestly, to me, like the best piece of evidence is always going to be something that like I see or hear or
Yep.
feel. I don't 100% trust. I mean, obviously, you can't trust equipment fully. But I'm so skeptical about equipment sometimes that I don't know. Like, I don't know how
The
I feel
EMF
about
detectors
equipment.
for me are like kind of spotty. You know what I mean? Like there's
Not
validity
not a
to
big
them.
fan of the
The
K2.
K2s in particular, I'm not a huge fan of, but
'Cause I
like
mean,
Mhm.
they are useful tools in certain situations. I will say that much.
Okay. See, I have one and I just like rarely ever end up pulling it out just because I feel like I don't know. I usually don't get much with it, but I mean, I have a little bit, but I just don't know, like, because there's cameras and there's phones and there's technology and all this stuff that can interfere. And I just feel like a lot of, like, there's been times when I have seen someone get a notification on their phone and the freaking REM pod goes off. And I'm like,
And it's like, bruh,
it's
airplane
the
mode.
REM pod. Like, yeah, but I really I do like the spirit box. I freaking love an Estes session. Like, I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie. I love that.
You and my wife, like everybody that comes on always is like it's like a like I feel like we need to get a running tally going now where it's like S-Box Estes methods, REM pods, and then EVP recorders. And then see which one's gonna win out.
Yeah, I used to like when I first got my REM pod, I was like, oh my god, I was so excited for the REM pod. It still is cool, like when it is like actually like pretty on with answering questions and like
Mhm.
whatnot. But sometimes, like, it's just I'm like, is
It's
it this is it just this thing? Like I don't know.
like we realistically don't ever have our REM pod on our Mel REM meter ever go off. So when it does, it's like the icing on the cake where it's like this motherfucker doesn't ever work.
It's
Why is it
happening.
working?
little hint, we actually got it going off, but didn't get it on camera on our video tomorrow. So be
Yeah,
on the
that's the
lookout for that,
tragic part
everyone.
too.
It
Of
actually went
course.
off, and we didn't get it on video. You can hear it though. That's
It
it.
goes beep.
Okay.
Yep, and then the video that comes out after that one too, same thing. My camera died right before it decided to do like satanic worshiping things. That was wild.
Excuse me.
So okay, I know I've told the story before, but like it is really interesting because I have never experienced this a day in my life, and Riley has never either. And I'm sure you will never have the same experience that I. It's just weird. Okay, so we were at Post Town Elementary, and I
Oh, I
was
want to go there
down.
so bad. That's on my bucket
That place
list.
is so fucking cool. I love that place. And I'm working on the video right now, but like that night I had two wildly crazy experiences that like were just mind-boggling to me. And one of them was I was downstairs with Creepy Confidential and then a couple of POV's team, and we were just hanging out downstairs. We were in their dry goods room, which was just a concrete room, and it was October, and it was probably about 50, maybe 45 degrees. So it was pretty cold down there. But I was super, super warm all night. So I was running around in like a tank top and shorts. Everybody else had sweatshirts on and blankets, and
He's
they
an
were all
animal.
freezing. But yeah, different type of person. But like I looked at a REM pod because it had kept like the temperature gauge kept going off. We kept getting spikes of like 13 milligauss, and it was really weird. And then they had an Estes method going on in the other corner, and then she started talking about like dark things, and then she said like like devil, he's here. And then all of a sudden, like after she started saying all this dark stuff, I look back at the REM pod and like the millimeter, and it's like bugging out a little bit, and then there's cat balls going off all around it, and I'm like, what is happening? And like everybody else will like also attest to this. Like all of a sudden the REM pod on the fucking Mel REM starts going one one literal, like, what do you call them, the lights that light up
Light,
one. Yeah, I don't know why I had so much trouble figuring that out. It started going one by one by one, so it was like if you were to touch it but slowly start pinching it to get it to like do it in like a slow sequence
Mm-hmm.
till it was on like the maximum range, right? And then it shuts off. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what's happening? And I pick it up. Well, the REM pod shut off, but the backlight shut off, but the whole thing didn't shut off. I looked at it. It said it was 120 degrees in the basement, and it was, like still working properly. So I turned it off and I turned it back on. Everything came back on but the REM pod. The REM pod just would not come back on. And I was like, oh no, I broke Riley's REM pod. So like I'm looking at it and it reads like, like 40 degrees or 42 or whatever it was. And I put it back down. And then like we go back to like doing our investigation, and I look back down. The fucking thing says it's 112 degrees again. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is happening?
What the? So did you ever have any issues with it after that?
No,
Or
works completely fine.
ah,
Actually, like Riley took it out of the bag when I got back and like turned it on. Completely fine. Like the batteries were fine. Like nothing was wrong with
Yeah,
it.
it was
There's
fully charged and everything.
nothing wrong with it.
that's strange.
And I still to this day of like I've never experienced that. I've never seen anybody's equipment like malfunction like that
Mhm.
and not be broken.
Do you recommend the millimeter? That's like one of the next things that I want to get is
Yeah,
the
if you do get a
millimeter.
millimeter, like it's the
Get
Mel REM is
the Mel
pretty
REM
nice.
has the REM lights on the top here.
Okay.
This is definitely the one to go with for sure.
Yeah,
So
because then
what
you can see.
do the lights like go off like according to like how like
Yeah,
So
I
that
guess
antenna that comes up, it'll give
mhm.
that EMF field. So like if anything starts to get, if you can
Okay.
turn
and
the sensitivity up too, but
yeah,
like if
and
it
you can
touches it,
totally customize the sensitivity. So like we have it set so you have to touch the antenna. Like you have to get
otherwise
within.
it is stupid sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to be like within like a circle around your
Yeah, like a
hand.
$50 probably.
Yeah, around like
Okay.
quarter or $50 close to it to even make it go off.
Okay. That's cool though that you
But we
can
also did learn that if you were to turn on your hotspot on your phone
You
and
can make
point
that shit go off.
your phone at the Melrem, it will
mhm.
go off. So because
Mm.
we had to use our phones for cell service to go on TikTok live at the Asher Walton house,
Mhm.
and it just started going insane, and we were like, "What the fuck's going on right now? It hasn't ever gone off." And then I was
Hold on,
like,
experiment
hold on
time.
a second. If I
Yeah.
point my phone at it because it's on, creating a Wi-Fi signal, will it go off?
Mhm.
Sure enough.
Yep. That's what it's so funny, like debunking equipment. I learned with cat balls, which I didn't know for months. Cat balls, if you're too loud and they're on like anything wood or even not even just wood, if you're too loud or talk too loud or scream, the cat ball will go off because of the vibrations.
Yeah,
That's
that makes
pretty
sense
wild.
actually.
I
That
there
makes a
was
lot of sense.
I can't remember what we were doing. I feel like I started to sing or something, and the cat ball. Oh, I was in the Monroe house. I was with my friend Taylor in the Monroe house at
Yeah.
one point, and we had the cat ball set up on the stairs, and I was started singing, and the cat ball went off, and I was like, "Wait a second." But I think we actually discovered a Inspiration House. It's like this little house in Ohio. I don't know if you've heard of it. And we just kept having the cat balls go off anytime like would talk loud. We weren't even screaming. We were just talking loud and they were going off. And so like we were able to debunk that, but we didn't know for the longest time. We did a good amount of investigations before we found that out. And I think there's
Huh.
still a good amount of people that don't know that.
Right, yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, if you
I
have like a
honestly didn't even
very
think about
bassy
that.
voice,
Like, you don't even have to talk that loud. Like, as long as you have just like a steady voice and it's on a certain surfaces where sound will travel through.
Yeah, I'm sure wood is probably an easier one.
Yeah, it was on something else one time too, though, that I was surprised that it was going off. I can't remember what it was though.
I like to take them so like that button part that has like that just that little concave that you got to push the button in. I like to
Hmm.
set it on that so like you have to like literally roll it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I think some of mine are the concave, but then some of them are the outies. So
Oh yeah, so it's
yeah.
like they're gonna be where they're gonna
There's
be.
a guy on Instagram I saw that he started 3D printing like these little cone things for cat balls to like sit on, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that is you remember you showed me that. That is it's ingenious, honestly. At least for like our niche.
oh, for sure. Yeah, that's sweet. That's definitely
It's
Yeah,
A1
Is
clutch.
he
thing.
is he selling them or what?
I think so.
It's
I'm
probably
not
TikTok shop, honestly.
probably either that or just DM on
Did you say
Instagram.
TikTok shop? Wait, what?
Yup.
You got them on
That'd be
that
a thing.
TikTok shop.
You gotta hit him over that TikTok shop.
Oh gosh.
See, but like I've had experiences though with our cat balls now, and I never thought they would go off for us, but they did. But like we'd stick them in like mud almost or like dirt, and they would start going off for us. And it's like nobody was walking. Like, how is this happening?
Yeah, I have this one video, and for the longest time, I was like, "That was the craziest thing that happened to me." I was at this place. It's called Laurel's House of Horrors. It's like 15 minutes away. It's an abandoned cinema turned into a haunted house.
That
But
sounds awesome.
it's really freaking. It's really cool, and it seemed active. Besides what the story I'm about to tell, but we had a cat ball set up like in 3 different places. We had one like on like a desk, one in a cabinet that was supposed to be haunted, and we had one there was like a mannequin like hanging on the wall like upside down, and like I stuffed it in this possessed guy's shirt, and like it was in there pretty good. But at one point we had heard a sound, and I was like, what was that noise? And then we were like, that wasn't you, whatever. And then we had just Spirit Talker running for shits and giggles, and Spirit Talker was like, did I scare you? And then I was like, what? And then the cat, it was from me screaming, so I'm pretty sure is what happened. One of the cat balls went off, and then the other one went off right after, and then the one in the shirt on the wall went off too. And like, so it was like one after another, cat ball, and I was like, ah! So I don't know if it was from me screaming or not, but it's kind of a funny video. But
It's just rapid fire screaming.
I
Like,
think
"What
it
is
was from me
happening?"
screaming. For the
I mean, it's
longest
that would
time, though, I
spook
was
me
like,
though. Like that is pretty jarring. I'm not gonna lie, especially when it's like make that go off. Bing, bing, bing.
oh,
Oh
the
god.
cat balls. I was like, the one on the okay. I want to go back so bad so I can like try to debunk it. Like,
It's the best to go back to locations because
I
then you
know.
can really get like your baseline and like if that was an anomaly or if that's what it always is like.
exactly. I feel like just going back to locations too, it's like you can start to kind of develop like a relationship. Like,
That
Oh,
too,
I
yeah.
100% believe that you can create a like relationship with the spirit. 100%. We've
No
had
doubt.
multiple guests that like have explained their relationships with different spirits. It's kind of wild. Like how can something that's like not physical have a memory? Like that's wild to even
Where are
concept.
they storing it?
Yeah, like how?
I know that's interesting to me too. I feel like there's so many different kinds of like I think some do have a memory, but I think others don't. I think there's just so many different things out there. Like I believe in the theory of dimensions, so I just think like dimensions and like timelines kind of like
Yeah.
on top of another, and like every once in a while
Yeah,
for
they
whatever reason.
overlap and overlap and overlap.
Yeah, and like for whatever reason, like there's like thinner veils, and that's what I was questioning if deja vu when that happens, if that's a thinner veil, like if the veil is thin or veil, not veil. I'm saying
I'll eat some
the veil.
veal.
Feels pretty good.
I always do that. I don't know why, but the
I
veil.
go southern.
The
I get like
veil
a
is
real
thinning.
hard southern accent.
That's what I question with deja vu though. It's like I'm like, I wonder if it's like because the veil is thin, like in those certain circumstances, and that's why.
Agreed.
Why do you guys?
I
Why
agree
do you
with that.
correct me when I said veal like 3
Because
times?
words are hard, and
Words are
we
hard.
misinterpret and misspell and missay things quite frequently, and it's like we just roll with it. And we've
I'm
learned
dead.
with this many episodes and doing this as much as we have that if we just fuck up one little word, is not any drop in the puddle more than like making the whole thing go.
Yeah, we're engaged in the conversation. We know what you meant.
This
Yeah,
meat is thin.
I completely got it.
The meat is thinning.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
to
it's when
think
when the meat is the thinnest.
yeah, when the meat is like on a dress too, and you wear that to the Grammys. I'm just kidding.
I'm,
But
I'm dead. I can't.
so I think there's also like a lot of like levels to like the spirits too, in particular, like it locations, you'll get like your residual hauntings. You'll get your like intelligent responses and people that can come and go. Then you'll get like these intelligent to like a time period, but only to that location. So it's like I
Mhm.
think there's a lot of like factors that play into like these intelligences or these consciousnesses.
Or
Mhm.
there's also spirits that don't belong there. They have no relation to the history. Like, how did they get there?
Just highly intelligent, extremely charged. I don't know what gives those ones the keys to the kingdom to be able to like do what they do, but maybe they're like primordial beings. I just figured it out. There's no way of knowing, you know.
100%. That's what's so interesting about it. I feel like since going to these investigations, I feel like I've been more focused on like figuring out like what the hell is going on. I'm like
More questions than answers.
exactly like when I started this, I didn't realize what kind of rabbit hole I was going to be going down. My perspective in the past year has changed so much.
Ours is ever so
It's
constantly changing.
I feel like
Mhm.
we're like that amoeba that's like in the amorphous, just like, hey, shape and mold me into whatever is going on that I can like physically like comprehend right now. Because I to this day
Yeah,
still don't know what happened to us half the time we've been investigating.
Can I say hi? Can I say hi to people in the chat real
Of
fast?
Oh, yeah,
course,
of
I
it's
see
course.
people
popping off.
coming through. Hi,
Who's going
Helena.
ham?
Hi, Patience. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Cece. Hi, guys.
I like
Thanks for
how we got
being
the
here.
spook crew and the night crew just like interwoven. We got a strong following today, and I love all of you. You guys are the bomb.
Yeah, honestly, my heart is full of seeing all my friends in here too. I'm
Gen
like,
Z dropping
thank
some
you.
theory on us. There's
That we
realms,
do.
and when we go investigating, I think we break open the door of these dimensions, and that allows them to come through to ours as we go to theirs, and everything becomes intermingled. I like that.
I do
Think
also think like that's like the big three, you know what I mean? Where it's just like the dimensional theory, like how you were saying, where it just overlaps and the time frames are always constant all over each other all
Mhm.
the time. And then it's like maybe there is like those factors that do play into like certain anchors to like spirits. Or maybe we are opening the doorway to like just a whole nother realm of like just consciousness that some some of those consciousness just haven't figured it all out yet.
Hi, Selena. Sorry, I don't want to say hi to my other friends. I don't want to miss. I'm sorry. I don't want to miss anybody. I want anyone to think I'm like not.
Hey, I give you more credit because we are awful at keeping on
Yeah,
top of saying hi to everybody in the chat.
I've
Riley does a
noticed.
great job of
yeah.
keeping up.
That's why I like to. That's why we
I'm
like
trying
to
to keep
bring up
y'all in check.
everyone's. That's why we like to bring up people's comments. That way they know we're not ignoring them.
Yeah,
We're
plus we
seeing
don't
it.
want to interrupt you when you're talking, so it's like
No, I get it. I get it. 100%. Hi, Princess Scary, by the way, too.
So
oh, so
this is
you guys are
usually
in the
about
deep.
the mark of the show where we ask you, what is your dream location? If you could go anywhere in the world with, say, a week of time, all the equipment, where were you
Nothing's off
be going?
limits.
Yeah,
You
nothing's
know,
off limits.
Liminx.
Too
Liminx.
taboo.
I knew that you guys were going to ask this question,
It's the
first of
best
all.
question.
It's the question everyone always asks.
It is
And
the like leading question. Other than like, what's your name? Where are you from?
yeah,
This one's
and
important though. It's important. The people got to know.
this is
It speaks to
I
who you are.
Stop. Don't put that much pressure on me. Like I'm gonna be judged entirely for my answer on this question.
I mean, I have some pretty out there answers. There's like 2 that Riley is always like, man, why do you always gotta bring this up?
I literally thought about this for like 10 minutes too. Because I have on my handy dandy note card.
What did you write down? What did you write down?
I have top bucket list locations, okay? Because I knew y'all were gonna ask this. And I can't think on the spot. And even though I had 10 minutes to think, I still feel like I couldn't figure out what my actual number one is. I'm shaking like so these are just like a few that I really want to go to. I feel like I can't think of my number one. Like I don't know what it is. Like it's escaped from my brain.
It'll come.
Maybe one day. I don't know. But
they kind of just find you.
Exactly. But okay, so I really want to investigate Ohio State Reformatory.
Oh yeah.
Okay. 100%. Yeah. That's literally on our list as well.
Okay, yeah. It's like a half hour from where I lived like all my life. So it's like one of those locations that I went to like their haunted house and like did a like a walkthrough or whatnot, but I haven't gotten to investigate. But that's probably my number one right now. Like
yeah.
My uncle was actually incarcerated there when it was open.
No.
Whoa.
How long? Like a good chunk or just like a small stint?
Maybe 2 years, I think he said. But he had paranormal experiences while he was there.
That's what I was gonna ask. My fucking dog. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Oh, let me get this. Her channel is tagged in the title. You can click.
I don't have anything on my channel, so you guys, you can just.
Other than that, all the socials are always down in the description. Everybody, always.
There you go.
So we got Ohio State Reformatory. Where are we at next?
Okay, I really want to go to Villisca.
Definitely a spot I feel like everyone that investigates has to go to because that story is crazy, and the house is still like a capsule of time. Like it has never changed really.
The Stanley Hotel.
Okay. Is that because of a big Shining fan?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Figures, of course.
And Pennhurst. I really want to go to Pennhurst as well. I don't have any I was trying to think of international locations and I don't know why I couldn't really think obviously the catacombs would be really cool and whatnot, but I couldn't think of anything. And I feel like I'm missing the one that I really want to go to and I'm just blanking on it.
Yeah, international locations are definitely harder because if there isn't a big video or a big TV show's gone there, you probably don't even know about it. That could be insanely haunted.
Exactly.
For me, I think of obviously the catacombs or Plaveglia Island, or maybe even castles in Ireland or something like that. I think those types of locations would be super cool because I mean that's history that way predates anything we could go investigate here in the United States. Medieval times. Can you imagine talking to someone from medieval times, how different they probably act towards someone?
Yeah, that would be very interesting to see what they think of us. What they think of where our society has gone to. And just I don't know, I feel with technology too, do you guys explain your technology when you go on investigations?
We tried to, because it's really tough though, because how do you tell a spirit how to use something when you're you just use your energy, but what does that even mean? You just hope that they understand you.
Yeah, I know. That's what
sometimes
I
too, we kind of been saying this a lot lately. At some points in the night, it almost feels like you're telling them to do circus tricks. Touch that
monkey see,
make
monkey
a noise.
Do.
Touch me, do all
100%.
this random shit, and it's man, I almost feel like I'm belittling them
a dick. I know.
Yeah.
That's what
But your brain's so fried sometimes that like you can't think of a better question. And it's
Or
like
you ask the same question like 27 times and you don't realize that you've asked it that many
Yeah.
times.
And you'll be like, I'll stop asking you.
Yeah.
This is the last time. This is the last time.
if you do this, I'll leave.
Yeah.
What you mean? I'm not leaving.
Give them ultimatums. Like,
Yeah, I feel like one of the last investigations I did, someone was like, "This is the last time we'll ask," and it said something like "liar." Like I think it was under an Estes, and it was like "liar" or
Getting
something
called
like
out by
that.
a
We're
spirit
like,
hits different.
Yeah, it definitely does. Or when you're in an Estes method and like something happens in the room and everyone like reacts to it, but you don't realize what happened. You just see lights and everything going everywhere and people like
mhm.
yelling super
You
loud.
see,
You're
you see
"What's
like
going
frantic
on?"
shuffling and shit, and you're like, what's going on here? Like I have my eyes
What's
closed,
happening? Yeah, like
and
hello.
then
I
I
missed
saw the
something.
flash.
What the hell, guys? Been sitting here
Like, are we
listening to
being
nothing
invaded?
for 20 minutes.
Oh my god. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. So what's your take on aliens?
I was about to bring up aliens.
That's
Coincidence?
really weird that I read brains.
I was literally about. I swear on everything I was about to say. So, like, what do you think about aliens?
See, little do you know, like me and Riley technically are like telepathic empaths, and like we read each other's minds and other people's minds.
Oh yeah.
Just happens.
Trevor, I don't know why you kind of give me like alien vibes though. Like I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
such as fuck. Wait,
Yeah, we have a little alien.
hold on.
Our friendship group has a little alien cult thing. We all have alien tattoos.
Aw, love that.
I'm not sure what he's doing.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know who you speak of. I look totally different when I change my glasses. And
Oh,
stuff,
you
too.
changed your glasses?
You're like,
What
what?
are you doing?
Yeah, I was just like, what are you talking about, dude?
No, can't do it. Those are uncomfortable.
No,
I
you
look like
just
Clark Kent.
you seem like you're from a different planet. That's all I'm
I am.
saying.
I've
Might
never
be.
been from here.
Uh,
I mean, you
why is
think
everyone?
all
Why are you
them
guys playing
black
with your
types-
hats? Everyone's.
It's just gotta go the way it do. Otherwise, my hair is unruly and unkept right now. I don't want to
Yeah,
deal
same.
with it.
Likewise.
So, I totally believe in aliens. I actually have alien stories.
Let's go. I want to hear all about these alien stories.
Okay.
You're
You're
not
like,
going to be
what's it?
ridiculed. I promise you. We've had our own alien encounters.
That's why, like, I'm always very wary about telling my alien stories because one of them specifically makes me seem like a nut job. But it happened, and it's just what happened. So it's the reality. But okay, so the first alien encounter I had, I was probably about 10 years old. And I remember me and my sister were getting ready to go roller skating for the night. We used to go
Fuck
roller
yeah.
skating every single weekend. It's like, it's what you did in middle school or
You had to. It's the cool
whatever.
thing to do.
Yeah. So we were getting ready to go roller skating. We were waiting on my mom because my mom always takes forever. And so we went out. We were like kind of bored. So we like walked out onto the back porch while we were waiting for her. And I swear at everything. I see. So we have a tree line that's like that was next to our house. The trees weren't like super tall or anything. I'm
Was
not
this
good
when
with
you were
like
in Ohio?
yeah, in Ohio. This is in
Makes
Ohio, and my friend Hallie actually had a really similar experience around the same time, and she lived right down the street. So it's like really, she would start telling me about her experience one day, and I was like, no freaking
And
way.
you were like, stop it.
Yes,
not
because
saying that.
we describe it the exact same way, basically, too. So there was like a tree line, and there was this huge. It was like a literally spherical, and it was just hovering. It wasn't moving, and it was huge, like hovering above these tree lines. Had like lights like around it. Like it sounds like a stereotypical UFO.
Yeah, it's straight out of a movie.
It's literally was. And we me and my sister, like, we freaked out. We ran inside and like we told my mom about it. And my mom said that she kind of remembers it, but I don't know if she's just like saying that or whatnot. You know what I mean? So yeah, but after that, it's like we just didn't even think about it. Like, but I could still picture it in my head to this day.
Yeah.
Like, because it was just
it imprints itself in your brain.
It does.
Like
It
one of those
definitely does.
events definitely will.
Yeah, and like part of me, like for a long time, I'm like, was it a dream? But I swear it wasn't a dream. Like this one wasn't a dream. But and then another time I was driving with my mom in the car, and we were close to to my house when this happened. We're driving down the highway, and all of a sudden I was watching this like weird looking thing in the sky, and it just like was moving weird. It was just like one light, but it just looked strange to me. I was watching it, and all of a sudden out of thin air it just disappeared. And I was like, what the hell? But then I see my mom, and she's looking over, and she's like in the car, she's the one driving, so she's like looking, and she's like looking too. I was like, did you just see that? I was like, did you just see that? And she was like, yeah. She was like, it just like disappeared. I was like, yes, I saw the exact same thing. And so I was like, okay, that's like cool, like to have someone there to validate.
Yeah.
But this is the weird story that I still it's very strange. So I was probably 19, so it's probably like almost 10 years ago now. I was taking a nap, and I remember the sun shining in through the windows. I was laying like under these like skylights, and the sun was shining in, and it was like warm. And I had kind of woke up from my nap for a second, but then I was like, I'm not ready to be done napping yet. This nap needs to continue.
Yeah.
So like,
I do those
good
naps.
nap.
yeah, it was. Oh my god, like the sun shining in. It was so warm, and I was like, I could nap a little bit longer. So I went to go back to sleep, and all of a sudden, like while I'm like about to fall back asleep, I hear what sounds like radio static in my brain, like tuning into my brain, like a radio station.
What the fuck?
And I don't know why I would just continue just like laying there with my eyes closed though. And all of a sudden I hear a voice in my brain. I don't know how to explain this other than it sounds like telepathic, like it was like a telepathic radio. It was so strange. And I hear like in this strange voice, it said, we are extraterrestrials from the planet. And it literally said a planet name that I cannot remember. And that's all the only exact words I remember. Like, we're extraterrestrials from the planet, whatever. And then they started talking about how like they wanted my help with something, or they something like that. Like they wanted my help, or they wanted to use me for something. And I immediately was like, I opened up my eyes, and I was like, what the heck was that? I was like,
That
what?
can't be real.
And then I just continued on with my nap. And later in the night, I forgot all about it. I went back to sleep. I had forgot all about it. And then later in the night, it just clicked, and I was like, whoa. And I started crying. Like I started crying because I was so freaked out about it. Like I just couldn't believe that, first of all, that I forgot that happened, and then remembering it that happened.
Do you remember if their voice was like human-like, or did it kind of sound like different?
It sounded different. It wasn't human, like
robotic.
Almost robotic, but
that's
not
wild.
But not quite robotic.
So a bio-organic engineered symbiote type organism.
I'm telling you, it was so freaking weird. It was so weird. And I have no explanation for it. I'm still like, maybe it was some kind of what's it called when you're like not dreaming, but like you
lucid dream?
Not lucid dreaming. I'm a lucid dreamer, so I can control my dreams.
That's
but it's when you hear like voices or something, like while you're still like on the verge of being asleep and awake.
Like a sleep paralysis type?
Yeah, like kind of like a sleep paralysis type thing.
There is another term for it too. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, there's like a word for it, but
if someone knows in the chat, let us know.
What's the word? Words are hard.
Words are fucking hard.
And then I did have one more experience after that regarding aliens. So this actually happened in the last 5 years. There it is. Hypnagogic, right? Hypnagogic.
I can't say it good. Don't look at me. I can't say it good.
I think you did a good job.
I just know what it sounds like. And that's it.
That's all that matters. But like about like probably 4 years ago at this point, I was like laying in bed and I usually sleep with string lights on. I mean, at my parents' house.
Mhm.
This was at my parents' house that this happened. Um, I had string lights on around my room, and I had to go. I was starting a new job the next day. I had to be up early, and I couldn't fall asleep. And I was like, I'm gonna turn off these lights. I was like, maybe the lights are keeping me up because I hear that lights can keep you up. Like,
It do happen like that sometimes.
yeah, like even if you don't realize it, like lights I don't know. Okay, word. I don't know.
Words.
They can keep you up. That even if you don't realize it. But so I had turned them off because I was like, okay, I need to go to sleep. And then I had fell asleep and I was probably asleep for like an hour and I had woke up because I was having like demonic dreams. Have you guys ever had like demonic dreams before?
One
Yeah,
really,
and it was like a shared dream
one that's
between
like
the both of us.
That's interesting. Let me finish the
was-
yeah,
story and I want to come back to
fucked up.
that.
we can talk about that.
But uh I had woke up from those like demonic dreams and like when I like opened my eyes, it looked like there were things like moving around my bedroom, like in the dark. And in the corner of my room was this tall, skinny, dark, lanky figure, like reaching the ceiling, and it had like long, lanky arms. And I was looking at it and I'm like squinting. And I'm like, am I seeing things? Because I was like shaking because I was so freaked out. I was like looking at it and then I was like, I need to plug in my lights because I was like so freaked out at that point. I'm like, these lights, never mind. Like, I'm not sleeping with the lights off ever again now. But I went
As
to
soon as you
go.
plug them in.
Exactly. And so the plug was like right next to my bed, but kind of lower. So I'm like reaching over, like trying to like get the lights plugged in. And when
Stabbing the wall.
literally I can't get the plug in and I'm freaked out and I'm like trying to get the plug in and then closer to me all of a sudden I see another one of the tall skinny lanky things standing in front of the window that's like closer to me. And well, I'm trying to get the light plugged into the wall and I'm like leaned over, I like have my eyes closed and I'm like, because I don't want to look, you know, but
Yeah,
then
because if you look, it's there, and I don't want it to be there.
Exactly. And so then I like opened my eyes a little bit because I like was trying to like see and I saw this long arm like reaching down like towards me. And at that point I was like,
No.
hell no. I like went under the covers and I called my boyfriend on FaceTime and I was like basically on the verge of crying because I was so freaked out. And eventually I got the lights plugged in and like it was fine. But
What about blankets? Is like why are they a barrier? Because I think the same thing, man. What about them has like that gamma slit, like super secure, like just barrier level security? Like
I
I don't get it.
Supernatural
swear.
protector as a blanket.
For real though. We love a good blanket. Good old blankie.
It's safety. I guess that's everybody knows it is safety.
I mean, we all do it, right? If you see
Yeah.
something, late at night, you're like laying in bed and you're like, nope,
just-
it's over. It's over
Nope.
now. You can't get to me.
I'm not dealing with that.
So what were you saying about you guys having the same demonic dream?
All right, Riley, you start it.
Okay, so we had spent a long night editing our haunted Indian burial grounds video, and it was the reason I say that is because it involves a specific scene in that video that we used as B-roll kind of, and it's where Trevor like heard something in the cemetery and he's like looking through the cemetery and it's a wooded cemetery, dark, super old, really creepy, and the light like as it's going through because it's kind of foggy because it was raining, just had this really eerie ambience behind
Super
it, right?
spooky.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And in our dream, this actually happened the night that we were working on this video. So it could have been because we were up for a long periods of time. And I actually almost thought I was going to die that night too. I almost fainted driving home that night and I had to stop at my girlfriend's house. And
Oh
like she
gosh.
found me basically passed out and at her front door because her door was locked and I couldn't wake her up because it was like 4 a.m.
Oh no.
And that night is when I had this dream, but it was at the point where I was asleep, but like my eyes weren't asleep yet. So I was like seeing things,
Your
and it's
brain
like
was
Mhm.
functioning, but your body
as
wasn't.
this was happening, I was like almost in that exact moment in the cemetery as this light went past this like opening of trees, and as the light passed, I don't know, skinwalkers don't belong in Michigan, but the best way I could explain it was a skinwalker like creature was now in this beam of light, and it seen that I could see it, and it like
Mhm.
charged me when it realized that we had made like eye contact, charged me, and then I like woke up. I was like, what the fuck? I remember like waking up at my girlfriend's house going, what the fuck? And it's super early in the morning at this point. It's like 5 or 6 in the morning, and I was like, well, okay, I'm not dealing with that right now. Go back to bed. So I fell back to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like it was actually like a few days
Jeez.
later, me and Trevor just having a normal conversation. I was at the marina actually, about to go on my boat, and we were talking on the phone. I think he was on his way there actually too. I think this was for
This is all true.
we were just hanging out. Yeah, we were just hanging out for a boat ride. I thought it was a special occasion, but no, we were just hanging out.
Nope, we're just voting.
So we're just talking to each other on the phone, and then I go, dude, so the night that we edited that video, like I had a really weird dream and I didn't tell you about it. And I started telling him about it, and he's like, hold up. Before
And
you
then
go
this
any
is where I
further,
like put the record scratch on my boy and be like, this is what I dreamed of. And it's like the same night, basically, like that night that he had his whole like ordeal when I went to sleep, because I stayed up a little bit later than he did, and I worked through the video a little bit longer.
Mhm.
But I went to sleep, and the exact same frame. So like, not that wasn't the frame that we left off on either. That was like well in the very beginning of what we had started working on that day. So like, you know what I mean? Like the last stuff you work on is usually the freshest in your mind. So that's what I would have thought initially, but it wasn't the case. So in my dream, like I'm panning with the flashlight, and when I hit that opening that Riley's speaking of, I see the same, like we described it just a little bit differently, because I always say it's, it is like a skinwalker-esque looking creature, but it was like gangly, like long reverse, like back hips, like a canine, but the torso was like humanoid, and like the face was like amorphous, and like had like it looked like, I don't know if fabric or like flesh is the best way to say it, like draped off of it
yeah,
almost.
that's about how
Ew.
I would explain it too. It's like it had a drippy flesh
Yeah,
almost. Like
and it like was very blobby to me, but it was very rigid and blobby all in the same like instance. And it was like it
Gross.
was just out of the like the light line, and it was in the wood, like the tree line of exactly where we both like described it, and it was like running through the woods. And like I didn't tell him about it because it was like days later, and I just was like, "Bruh, I had a weird dream too." Like, what?
That's wild.
Yeah, like why? I don't know.
Do you think it
Very
was
interesting.
do you think it was linked to that
well,
cemetery
now
then?
we think
Somewhat.
it's even deeper now because of what happened at the tattoo shop where we had the spirit talker say,
Mhm.
my name is Mildred, when that night we were trying to talk to presumably a little girl named Mildred
Hmm.
And it
because
seems like we've been
yeah,
followed too before by other dark entities. And we get Mildred quite frequently. So like I almost wonder if like what we saw like scared that little entity to us. Now that I think about
Oh.
it deeper. Like, you know what I mean, Ryan? Like maybe like if that is like subconsciously what we like snapshotted there, like why she decided to come with us or like to follow us to locations is because like she was scared of what happened and we weren't scared of it.
that's a good point. That actually
I mean,
is.
it creeped into my mind just now.
And
So
the reason why this is even super weird, I just thought about this and I don't know why it didn't hit me sooner. But like in that video, in that general area where we
Mhm.
thought we saw this skinwalker in our dreams, we actually got skinwalker on the spirit talker.
And wasn't right behind us, like in general relativity, like we weren't that far away from the Mildred like
No,
circle
like
of grave sites.
75 yards at
Not
max.
even, I don't think, if that.
If that, I don't even think the cemetery is that big.
Yeah, the last thing I was like, I feel like it was like a lot closer than that. But yeah, it's all very odd. And it seems like, we've had more run-ins with stuff that does seem to follow us, but like not like hound us and ruin our lives kind of follow us.
Mhm. Just like hanging
Yeah, where it
around.
kinda just like will pop in and it'll be like, "The fuck is this?"
Mhm. That's wild. That's crazy too. You guys are just like putting some stuff together right now. Like,
I mean,
whoa.
we've been able to sit and think about it for a long time too, because like
Yeah.
Mhm.
that video came out last year, probably like the beginning of the year, honestly.
Yeah, July, I think.
And
Mhm.
and the fact that like recently, the most recent video that we released had Mildred in it, which brought us right back to that investigation and thought about it. And it's like that's all still pretty fresh. And we talk about it relatively often about how we want to like retool a lot of our old videos eventually and like fix the sound qualities and like our editing is a lot more fluid now, and it's like, oh, I see a lot of chonk.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know, like those dreams to me just like really, really mess it, like they mess with my perspective on everything, because it's like, where do I draw the line in the sand for what's reality and what's like not what I might be just like bringing into reality with my
Right.
thoughts.
Because like here's this. I'm
Mhm.
surprised you skipped over this, Trevor, because we love
My
this
bad.
topic. That we believe that sometimes your he describes it the best with the traumatic response. So like if your brain encounters something traumatic, it might bury it inside of your subconscious for
Mhm.
you to see later, kind of
Mm,
thing. So like, what if our visually we don't see what's in front of us, right? Because it's a ghost, but our brain works on so many different light spectrums and things like that, that what if it's actually seeing it, and to help your subconscious and your present being mind like perceive what's happening, it blocks it out and shows you while you're sleeping so that you don't get too like
jarred.
too jarred
Yeah,
from it.
yeah, like have a heart attack.
I mean, the
Right.
psychiatrists
Like,
have
jeez.
proven that, like, that trauma response is a real thing.
Mhm.
So like what if the like nightmares are actually like a real thing? Like it's something that you experienced, but like you didn't perceive it in the present time until your brain was like, okay, I think you're ready for this.
That would make sense. And that's really interesting to think about. I've never thought about that before.
Because Trevor, tell the example of Old Lincoln County Jail. I know our chat and everybody, some people are new tonight because they've never heard this story, and I think it goes along
This
with
is another
what happened
wild
so
dream
well.
story. So, like, exactly how he said, it's like, what if subconsciously our trauma response is to, like, bury that stuff? So, we went and did Old Lincoln County Jail in Ohio. That place is really cool. We caught some really cool stuff. Like a jail cell door moved on its own. We caught disembodied voices. But there was a particular jail cell that we walked into. I think it was on the males,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
male floor where they housed a lot of their like really bad criminals. And we walked through, like into the we you struggled to find the word earlier. Now I am the cell block.
Cell
That's what
block.
it is. And we got to like a certain cell, and like I just like I had that like static web feeling, like the whole like it's like emitting energy out of it. And like I looked at it, and it was like really dark black, like Vanta black, where it's like the absence of black, where it's like, whoa, weird. And I was
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna walk in here. So like I looked at it for a second, looked at it, walked in there, and it was like I walked into like a spider web. There was nothing on me and there was nothing around me. But then, like there's nothing in there. It was just really dark. It was normal after that. I walked out. Well, we did the rest of the investigation. We're on the drive home. I'm the worst co-pilot ever in this ride home, and I fall asleep, but like my head's up against the window. And like immediately when like I'm almost positive I was in REM sleep. Like I was deep asleep. And then all of a sudden I was like immediately taken right back to that exact cell block. Walked exactly, heard exact everything was the same walking up to the cell block except for when I got in front of that doorway, a big black shadowy mass rushed me. And when it rushed me, Riley had just started going through a turn, and like I just woke up immediately and was like just panicked. And he
Oh
looked
my
at
He
me and I
was
god.
was like
I swear to
white.
God, I was like, there was a rest stop coming up. I'm like, dude, do you need me to stop? You look like you're gonna like get sick or something. He was
No,
pale
and I was
white,
just like
like
just
cold
panicked.
sweats, like out of nowhere. Like he was fine, like
Mhm.
an hour before that, because he was out for a little while. But
Mhm. Yeah, that's wild.
It was weird.
That's
like those are the kinds of
crazy.
Yeah, to
experiences that are
play it
kind of
back the way that it did too in my brain, where it's like everything was like it was in literally like VHS mode, where like, oh, I took a video of this. That shouldn't be there. Somebody implanted that. I don't know. Maybe it's like you flip this tapes at the end of that one, and I should have actually seen in the real time that big black mass that rushed me.
That's really interesting.
I don't know. It and it's still to this day is like one of the only times I've had a dream that was eerily similar to that, where like it physically affected me like that.
Mm,
I don't know, like I don't want to just like write it off as like, oh, it was just a dream, because it was very abnormal, but it's an anomaly nonetheless.
mm-hmm. For sure. I feel like dreams are so interesting. Like, I don't know. Obviously, like I think some dreams are just random,
I
maybe
mean, it's
just
human
little
psyche.
things, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes we can go into another kind of realm in dreams.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
honestly think like Insidious sometimes like that's like a totally possibility. Like going to the Nether, like I feel like there's some type of like real thing there. Honestly, like it's the best way
Mm-hmm.
I can explain how those moments felt to me is to where it was so real that like it felt like I was dream walking essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
like I remember it, like I seen like in the video on Indian Burial Grounds, that's from Trevor's perspective, right? That video. I seen it from my perspective in my dream, not the video's
Mm,
Yeah.
perspective. So I seen Trevor with his camera and light like going like this and then seeing the monster. Like all of that happened in my dream, but from my perspective. So it wasn't like my brain was using that imagery that I seen from the video, because the video we filmed like a month prior. So like it had been some time. So like my brain filled it in with my perception of the event, which is even wilder.
Yeah, because then it's like, how do you have those angles, where it's like it just kind of over time built it put the puzzle pieces back, because it's like it was always there.
mm-hmm.
And that's what's so fun about the paranormal investigating is like you get to create a puzzle with the investigation and then you review everything or talk about the events with the people that were there with you, and you get to like put this whole night together and like figure out what mysteries were solved. And I don't know, it's fun.
Mm-hmm. It
That
really
that would be
is.
really fun. I try to force pieces into places where it's like, dude, that happened at the end of the night. Why are you trying to put that
Yeah,
first?
he's really bad at remembering the timeline of events that happened throughout the night.
I just know when stuff happens, it's cool.
That's it.
That's such a mood. I feel like that's me sometimes. Like I'll go to a location and I'm like, I'll be like, whoa, that was like such crazy activity. I'm like, what happened? Like it was
It
cool.
it was so cool. Don't ask me what happened right afterwards, because I don't fucking remember all of it at once.
Mhm.
I always have such a hard time like after an investigation. A friend asks me like, "How'd it go?" I'm like, "Well." A lot of times we'll be like, nothing really happened. Oh, that was too crazy. And then, but we have to review everything, like we only reviewed some stuff live. So,
Or like you do the
Mhm.
like I do it a lot, where I'll just be like, that was pretty cool. Like we caught a couple voices, some feet moving that weren't our feet, and like like really downplay it, but it's like, no, like check this out. Like it's fucking insane.
Yeah. Uh yeah, that's I'm the same exact way. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, they like these went off, like this happened, but it's like
They want you to explain it in such like a cinematic way, but you're like, it was what happened? Like I don't know what happened.
we were asking some questions and it went off, and then like things were moving, and then we heard a bang, and then we screamed, and then
100%. That's my feeling about it every time. You know what I mean? Right? Anytime anybody ever asks me about it, it's like, well, now I gotta walk the tightrope of, do I sound like a loony because this stuff really did happen, and I'm gonna look really wild for saying it, or do I just like downplay the shit out of it, and then people are like, huh, he must not be one of those real investigators.
right.
but we also like we haven't been like actually spooked out of a location to where
Not
like
yet.
we need to have to leave. I had one time where I felt uncomfortable, but I left and I came back in. Like I
That's
just got some
normal.
air.
That's normal
Mhm.
though.
Like I felt like I couldn't breathe anymore. Like I was taking
Oh.
breaths, I like wasn't getting anything. That was when I was in Alaska investigating crematorium. That
He's
Ooh.
was
also
pretty dope.
overlooking a very like gleaming fact that they
Oh,
used to heat their town with the crematorium.
Stop.
no, yeah,
Not
they used the
not lying.
furnace from the crematorium to heat the town. So like this town's called Palmer, Alaska. Absolutely beautiful town. It's in the valley, like mountains all the way around you. It's gorgeous.
Alaska haunted fuck.
But a family friend of ours, she owns like this giant building where you can rent out rooms for your business. So like if you're coming to Alaska on business and don't have like a place to conduct your business, you can rent out a room there and you can hang out there and like you can even get a bed in there and stuff. It's really cool. The only kind of thing you'll find in Alaska. I don't even know how to explain what it is.
It is its own
But
thing.
there's like a garage door and it goes into the basement, which you'd think was like a shipping area, but it used to be a tunnel system underneath the town. And that's where the jail was, and like where they kept all of the bad people was down in these tunnels, further down from where I was. But at the end where I was, that's where they brought all the dead bodies to burn them to heat the town.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard anything like that.
It's the craziest story ever. And
Alaska
what's
is the
crazier
last frontier.
is I stayed in the hotel that is at the end of where the tunnels were, where the actual police department was, is now a
You could
hotel
get
called the
into the
Eagle Inn.
tunnels from
I
there.
think it's called the Eagle Inn or the Eagle Hotel or something like that. It's a super old hotel, probably haunted. Like I didn't investigate it when I was there. I probably should have, but
He was on a fishing trip.
yeah, I was fishing and I wasn't
Oh,
really
you
focusing on that type of stuff. But
gone
another time,
fishing?
I have done investigations when I'm up there, but that was that town's got
That
some
was a
wild
surprise though,
history.
wasn't it? Like you had no idea that place was
No,
haunted
yeah, it
till
was
you got
totally
there.
off the cuff. Like
Yeah.
they were just like, "Hey, there's a story behind this building. Like we should, if you want to go in there after it locks up for the night, we'll take you down there." And I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Dude, that's sick.
That's why the paranormal community is seriously the best though. Because like you'll run into people that are like-minded like us, and then you'll start having a conversation, and then it'll be like, "Oh, hey, actually, I know of a location," and it's like, "Oh shoot, man. Like, do you now? I have a couple in my pocket where it's like we can easily like collaborate, we can get each other into these locations." And it's like, thank God for the homies for real, because the next 3 locations that we're doing are basically because we were referred to by a lot of our friends at this point. And it's like, I'm so thankful that the community is as like inclusive, I would probably say, because we're all doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
granted, like there is some toxicity here and there, but like I think it's only because like it is a very volatile niche where like we're all putting our necks out there to be, like credible. And
Mhm.
everybody's perceptions are different. And I'm not
Yep.
gonna say anybody's faking anything because I don't actually know. Like,
Mhm.
I will say I have my opinions on stuff, but, I mean, that's everybody has their own opinions, and that
Yeah.
doesn't change the fact that I still, like, will not unlike a person for having an
Yeah, in this community, like we all have the same end goal, and that's to
100%.
one, experience something we can't explain, two, try to find answers to things that we can't explain, and three, answer the age-old question: is there life after death? Like what
There is.
happens after
Mhm.
you
There
die?
has to be.
Exactly.
Because
Ex
death is a terrifying thing, but should we
ex
fear it? You know what I mean? Like, should it be feared or should it be like accepted? It's like obviously most of us accept death. Like we know it's going to happen eventually. But like why are some people left here and why are maybe some people not left here? Like why
Right.
is that?
Mhm.
Is it the battle between heaven and hell? Like those are the kinds of things I
Mhm.
want to know. Like
Are
I'm not a
diamonds
very
legal?
religious person, but like, I grew up going to church and everything with my grandparents, and I've always wondered the same question since I was a little kid. Like, if all of this stuff in this book about this man is real, then why would people be forced to suffer that are completely innocent, kind, and all of this? Like, if they didn't commit any sins and stuff, why are their souls left to be forgotten about?
Mhm. Never stop asking questions, kids.
Never.
Yeah, the day you stop asking questions and hunting for ghosts, you've failed as a ghost hunter.
Mhm.
That's such a fucking hot take.
F minus. F minus. Jesus Christ.
We love it.
Hey, but what Danny over here is saying though about Ghostrama, May 11th at the Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
100%. That's gonna be so awesome.
We're gonna do our damnedest, and I think we are going to make the trip
Oh,
to
we will be there.
this
100%.
Ghostrama. But if you don't know what that is it a paranormal convention? It is the perfect time for us to talk about this too, moving from like, you know, a paranormal community. But it's a paranormal convention basically that has been getting put on for relatively quite
2
a
years
few
now.
years now, yeah. And it's, you know, like everybody will put up a tent, you know, there's vendors, there's usually like
The
actors.
Ghostbusters will be there.
Yup. Like,
The
you know, it's like a whole,
Ghostbusters?
yeah, it's like a
Ghostbusters, not
whole
even
event.
kidding you.
Like it's awesome. Like if you guys
Danny
are in
is
the
a
area, check it
Ghostbusters. He has
out.
the whip and everything. He
Oh,
drove it
wow.
to Trevor's wedding when he married him.
Yep, yeah, Danny is
What?
the best, dude. Yeah, Danny married me.
That's so cool.
Yep. So like if you're like we'll pull it up one more time so everybody gets the date and you can write it down. May 11th,
Ghostorama.
Bell Mansion. May 11th. That's the day. Be there, be square. You can meet us. You can meet all of us. Okay, probably not Sam, but
Maybe. I'll see ya.
maybe. Well, if in May I'm in the Indiana area.
I went to ISS Con last year.
How was that?
It was fun.
We heard great things about that.
Yeah, I heard only great things.
It was a good time. Just everybody was super chill. It was so cool meeting, connecting, and investigating with so many different people, and it was a good freaking time.
What was your
Yeah.
favorite part about it? Like, was it the investigation? Was it getting to meet the people? Like,
It was definitely getting to like meet so many people in the
Mhm.
community. Like it was crazy. It was like everybody that I was like watching for like the past year,
Yeah.
like friends that I've made. Like so many people were there. It was
It's crazy
awesome.
how many people were there that have been guests on our show as well.
Right. Yeah, that was the fun part too, is like, especially now that like you see how big the community really is too. And
Mhm.
like the fun thing is like there's a lot of these like Ghostorama events, a lot of these all around. Like I went to one in Ohio at Post Town Elementary in October. So you know what I mean? Like there's like these events all over the place. Like if you just go
Mhm.
look around your communities, like chances are you'll probably find like-minded individuals doing the same type of things
Yeah.
or locations, if not that are like actually pretty fucking haunted, because we've been encountering a lot of that, but also people have sticks up their butts and don't like to let people in. Riley knows what I'm talking about. It's an
I know.
innuendo.
The tea.
The tea. It's just it's one of the places that we've been striving to get into around here for a long time. And basically over
We don't handle rejection well. That's what
yeah,
it is.
and over, you know,
Mm.
like Halloween, they let another local team basically investigate it that I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure does have a bigger following than we do. But then we reached out to them very professionally, like multiple times now, and they were just like, no, we're not doing that. It's like, well, why do they have special privilege?
And it's like it's one of these things too. It's like it's a building that's very important to our local history, and like we really want to get in there and create a documentary. Sorry, words are hard. A documentary on like the history behind the building, the city, why this home is so important, why.
Yeah, because it's our hometown.
Yeah.
Where are you guys from?
Muskegon. Up in
Michigan?
Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few like big location sites around here. So like you have like the USS Silversides, which was one of the World War II submarines that actually saw naval combat. You have the USS LST, or it's not the USS, it's just the LST 393. I think that's what it is, something like that.
It's
But that's
LST,
another.
just what we call it around here.
I think so. Yeah, the LST is what the ship is called, but it was a transport ship that also was around during World War II, and it saw combat. Well, it saw combat on D-Day, but it was never shot at or shot. It just transported things and people and prisoners and things like that. So you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like historical landmarks around here.
Yeah, there's a theater
But-
here that is got some really awesome history, and it's absolutely gorgeous, but they wanted to charge ridiculous amounts of money to let us do
For
it
like a
for a very
4-hour
short
time
time.
slot.
That just reminded me of one of my top bucket list locations. I want to go to Gettysburg. I live so close and I haven't been yet.
Oh, of course, gosh.
Yeah, we talk about Gettysburg on the Reggie, which like to me, that's one of the big places that if only you could investigate the battlefield with special permissions at night, which it's not gonna happen. But like, just imagine some of those crazy like unicorns you would find out there, where it's like,
I really want to go there and hear cannon fire. Like that would.
I want to hear what it
blow
sounds
my
like. You can
mind.
hear like the people running through the fields and like the like battle cries and like people like shouting orders. Like that's what I'm looking for, and I know it has to happen there. Residual energy is a real
Yep,
thing.
all that
Johnny proved
energy.
that.
That's what everything comes down to energy. That's
It
what it
does.
is.
Energy
Everything's
and
energy.
wavelengths. I think that has a huge part of it too. Like what kind of
I mean, it's all
like
vibrations.
what kind of
Mhm.
vibration the spirits give off, what kind of vibration you give off, and like I've kind of explained it like this before as like a magnet. Like some people are just like a charged magnet, and then other people like they're a positive and negative, like pushing you
Yeah.
off each other.
Mhm.
So like I feel like spirits are the same way. Like they're attracted to certain people because we've noticed a lot of times too, like especially Estes method, one person can sit down through Estes method for like an hour, right? Not hear a single word.
Yeah.
And then another person goes under and it's just left, right. Like
And it's just hitting every
Mhm.
note.
Yeah, it just depends. That's why I think it's so important to like experiment with like different. I love investigating with different people, like new
Yeah.
people. Like that's why
Every walk of life.
Yeah, exactly. I've brought in so many new people in investigations. Like that's one of my favorite. I've took so many people on their first investigation. Like just like random people that are like, I've been wanting to try. I'm like, freaking come with me.
For
Like,
sure.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Like, why
And they
not?
always love it. And it's like I always get different. Like even with the new people, it's like sometimes you're like, okay, new people, they don't really know what's going on, but like, like let's just see. And like one of the most active investigations I've been on, like it was like all new people who have never done it before. Like it was so cool to see. And like they were all freaked out by it, but it was so cool.
yeah, I think we had like one of those cool moments too. Like when we were at Eloise Asylum, we have this rubber ducky. We'll bring
Oh, here we go.
Some
He's
people
got it,
might
I
say
think.
we're copying Project Fear, but we're not. We've been doing this before them. We have this rubber duck that lights up.
Swear.
I'm just kidding. I'm
We
not
have
a
this duck,
Project Fear girl. You're
it
good.
lights up, so it is different than
Fear
theirs.
game.
So we use this as an actual like tool because you have to. There's a little button right on top.
Yeah,
here
it's
behind your
got like
head.
one of those like
You have to.
tactile
You
buttons.
have to press it to make
Okay.
it go off. You can do it like this and stuff, but like it's
Mhm.
not as precise. And then it goes through a light sequence. But we set this down in the middle of everyone, and it went off. I think we have 14 minutes of video of it going off on command.
Yeah.
Holy
I
shit.
think it went off a total of like 20 times or so, but only
That's
on this
insanity.
floor in this specific spot.
Huh.
And later in that night, because it was a group investigation, a guy came up to us and he's like, "Can I see that duck?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "How do you make it go off?" We're like, "You have to touch this button. It's the only way to make it go off." And he's playing with it. He's playing with it, and it had actually frozen, so it wasn't working at all. And we're like, "Well, we'll unthaw it. We'll go down to the heater, unthaw it,
And see if
let you
that was why.
and
Yeah.
see if that was why." It was not. And then he was just like, "Okay, I think you guys just made me a believer in the paranormal because that makes no sense at all. Like, why would this just, start blinking?"
It would work, wouldn't work, would work. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a cool little tool. I love little gadgets like that. Just little toys that are like motion or touch activated or whatnot.
Bye, Helena.
Bye,
Bye,
Helena.
Helena.
Helena, shout out to Helena. She's the one
I was
that
just gonna
shouted
say.
me out to have me on. So I love you,
She is
Helena.
indeed.
Yeah, and I can't wait to meet you hopefully this year too. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I'll say it's late over there too. I'll say shout out.
I
Yeah,
know,
I
right?
know, real MVP over there.
Man, like it cracks me up too though, where it's like when you have experiences, that are just like crap your pants moments. You know, like, and then you look back at it now, it's like, yeah, to this day, I still think I reacted pretty on point to what I was feeling at that moment.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you react how you should be
You were,
reacting, I think. I mean,
yeah.
you just it's your natural instinct.
Yeah, and
I'm a screamer. If I'm startled by something, I scream.
see, me and Riley just are like the stones. Like, it's weird because like
That's why
sometimes,
oh.
yeah, like sometimes we'll just like look at each other and not say a single thing and just stare off into the distance, and then it'll be like, all right, now just slowly move towards it, or we gotta like quickly move towards it.
Yeah. I guess it depends because sometimes I am like that where I'm just like, it depends on what it is. Like if it's
Yeah, that's
something
a good point
loud,
too.
like if it's a loud bang or like
An aggressive bang.
something, yeah, something like aggressive like that, then I'm like, what? Like, I don't know.
You turn into a pterodactyl and you start flying. Like, I'm out.
I'm done.
I mean, there's only one time that like legitimately got me like super spooked like that, and that was like one of our first investigations too. And it was like at the old Lincoln County Jail when I heard the jail cell door move for the first time. Immediately, what are we doing now? Like, dude,
Hiding.
stuff can get moved and touched. Like, what is that? Like, what is that?
I feel like I haven't had anything super spooky happen in so long, and I'm craving it. I want to
That's
be
sweet.
scared
That's us too.
shitless.
Dude,
Like any investigation, I'm like, come on, please, like
Yeah.
something crazy, please
Hit my
happen.
veins.
right into
Like,
the veins.
it's like I become like almost, I don't want to say I become skeptical because like obviously I'm a believer because I've had experiences in the past, but like it's like I
Yeah.
start to question whether I was
Exactly.
like crazy in the past or
Thank you. Then you're
whatnot.
like, was I over exaggerating these things that I've caught in the past?
Yeah.
Because that's how I felt lately, where it's like there's no way that this really clear evidence that we have now is as clear as what it is when I could have caught like just as clear evidence on those past investigations, but it's just fucking poop compared to this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. We finally will be getting our fix this weekend, which is going to be
Yeah, and it's like
freaking
now that
awesome.
we finally are like scheduling investigations out like a little bit of a ways where it's like we have a good backlog.
We have
And
we have three
we still gotta get a
locations
hold of
until
Danny over here too about getting into a few locations around his neck of the woods because like I don't know,
Okay.
there's just so many, and like we've been on that like hard to find the footing like financially to do all of it because we were trying to do too much.
I feel like we have a good story here.
Prospect House. Oh, me and Hallie and my other friend are trying to go to Prospect Estate. Have you been there?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Our list is very short at the moment.
Okay. Gen Z, I would love to. Yeah, dude, hit me up. I mean, this is like he's 17, so I like was kind
He's
of like
the
waiting.
bomb.
I was like
love
trying to
that
wait until
boy.
he's 18 in case something happens. Like,
You don't want to be liable for a minor?
yes.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't
Sorry.
laugh.
I'm 10 years up. Like, I'm 11 years older than
Well,
him. So
me and
I'm
Riley
like,
both like literally looked at each other and we were like, we could be his father.
yeah, that's what I just. And why Sam, does she have health issue? Have meds? What is that about?
Oh, Danny.
I mean, I probably do, but I don't take meds.
It's because you sneezed.
Because it's you. It's the
I
alien.
didn't sneeze.
You're from another galaxy. You don't have to tell us any other thing. Like just blink twice if you're a reptile.
Yeah, it was exposed that you're an alien earlier in the chat, so.
Oh, was it?
It definitely was.
Oh shit, no.
We got to pointing fingers, the chat exposed.
No one's supposed to know.
Ah, shit. I love that. I love that profusely.
I feel like I had so many stories and dang. I got to a few of them.
A few of them.
I would say, did we cover the note sheet?
I think I got maybe
a quarter of it.
Not even.
Not even.
Not even. Literally a few. Maybe like 2 or 3 points, actually, but it's okay.
Hey, we rock and roll, and it
It
goes
was
wherever the music takes us.
yeah, exactly. But we hit points that I didn't have on the note sheet, so
Yeah. Well, and the best part is we can always run it back, and it's like there. And if you ever like wanted to do it on like say your channel and then have us on too, like we are more than welcome to
okay.
doing that stuff too. And it's like I always am down to do more conversating about this because I
Okay.
know for a fact that like we definitely do have more stories to hear from you because like we barely scratched the surface on some of the locations, but everything that we've
Right.
heard tonight has been incredibly
You said
awesome.
15 locations in the past year. Like, I feel like there's
Yeah.
a lot that are
Yeah,
probably
we can
buried in there
definitely
that
like
need to get
deep dive
resurfaced.
a lot of that too. Well, and excuse me, like the best part about it is too is like by the time like we do another session of this because I mean we could probably do like 11-hour streams and talk about ghosts for 11
Yeah,
hours straight and it wouldn't be
right.
hard. You know, it's like you'll probably have more crazy evidence to share too and like locations that you've been to by then and it's like, oh man, it's just a party.
Uh-huh. No, exactly. This is like the one subject I feel like I could just chit chat about forever.
We didn't even ask you this before we end the stream tonight. We got to know: do you believe in Bigfoot? Do you believe in aliens? Are you on that side of the spectrum where Bigfoot could be real?
Bigfoot do be real.
If I believe in Bigfoot, my perspective on Bigfoot is that he's in another dimension. And when people see those glimpses of Bigfoot, it's like that breakthrough in the dimensions. And there's the Bigfoot. If he existed in another time, like 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 back way back in the day, I think that's what I think Bigfoot is.
I'm with you there. I honestly am, because honestly, it makes no sense to why every time like a video is grainy and like it's only for a split second and like
Why?
they just disappear and you can't find them and there's maybe only one
Mhm.
track and it's like, where are the other tracks at? Well,
Mhm.
if it was only here for like a glimpse of a second, like
And then beam
maybe
me
it's
up,
just
Scotty.
passing through, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
It's
it,
that blip in dimensions.
yeah, it's
That's what
almost
I
like
think.
seeing a ghost or like seeing an alien. It's just like, I feel like it's one of those things where it's meant to happen to you. You don't know why. You can't tell why. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It happens to you, and you have to try to deal with either you're crazy or it actually
Yeah.
happened and it's real.
What's worse?
And like, what if because he's traveling, like he's fucking up all the energy fields, so like when you're trying to film him, you can't get a good glimpse of him because he's
He's got
fucking
his
it
own
all up.
jammer built in.
Yeah, he's got a jammer, bro.
That's a great point.
Man, that I mean, there's no explanation on why there isn't a possibility of him being an extraterrestrial. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities whatsoever.
Nothing's impossible.
No, there's always a 98% chance that I'm wrong, but I'll take those odds,
Yeah.
especially if I want it to be right that bad, and I do so badly.
Well, we are at the 2 hour mark, so it's time to wrap it up for the night. We want to thank you again, Sam, for joining us and sharing all of your experiences with us. And we will definitely have to run it back and jump into more of the experiences we didn't even get to because we only hit 3 points on the note sheet tonight.
We
Oh
have a
gosh.
tendency of doing this.
No, you're fine. It was great. I loved all the conversations had. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I really enjoyed this. It was super fun. Thank you everybody in the chat, all my friends,
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hallie, Patty, Big Dogs, Dantex, Marianne, Kayla, all,
Everybody.
anybody
Gen
who's
Z,
watching.
Helena, Matt,
Oh,
those dweebs, Patty, Blood Moon, Wolf Paranormal, Princess Story,
Oh god, here we
Marianne.
go. You guys
There's
start pulling
a
them out of the
whole
hat,
list.
bro.
If I missed everyone, Dan Tax, if we missed anyone, we're sorry. Just know that we love you. And if you haven't yet and you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, subscribe, if you want to follow Sam on her adventures, all the social media is down below. Click on her name in the title. We make it super easy for you. It's right there. And with that being said, folks, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes
Bump in the night.
Peace.
Bye.